Hey,
Welcome, everyone, to another Metaphysical Monday. It's Sister Cola Soljak, and tonight we're about to build deep on the hidden language of the cosmos. I have here sitting with me Ancient Angel.
what's up, guys? How you doing?
How you doing? And he's going to go ahead and we're going to get into it, but I want to go ahead and just set the tone for the live. So lately, guys, we've been talking about AI a lot. Is AI the devil? We built on Sasquatch even, and that was with brother Babalawo Kefra Patah. So shout out to him. Hopefully, we'll bring him back on and we'll get deeper into the AI to the E5 and the binary system and how it connects with you know ancient technology versus artificial intelligence. Okay, so we'll deal more and build more on intelligence. Now tonight we're talking about what if the universe has a fingerprint? What if the spirals in DNA, the cycles of the sun, the patterns in the galaxy, the weather, the seasons, and the human behavior all are connected by one hidden design? Tonight we're asking a bigger question: does the universe leave clues inside of everything? And if it does, what does it say about us? Okay, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and get into. So we have Ancient Angel here with us, coming from out of New York. So tell us a little bit where you from and give us a little bit about who you are.
Hey, guys. Yeah, so I'm from the Bronx, born and raised. My mom, she's like,
Yes.
yep, heck yeah, represent all day.
For sure.
You know, my mom, she's like mixed European. My dad's full Puerto Rican. You know, um, I had a kind of crazy family dynamic, but I feel like everyone does. And a lot of my past, I'm not gonna say it was easy or hard, because it made me who I am. So I'm really appreciative of the place I'm at right now in my life. So and I've learned that I'm a teacher. So that's what I'm here to do. And being a teacher, my favorite part is being a student. So I've just found a way to make money doing the things I love. And learning life isn't about money. It becomes more about like a goal and like a journey. So like when I found my destiny, what I'm here to do, it became bigger than money. It became bigger than everything. So I'm just here doing what I do, and I hope everyone appreciates it because we're here to build and move things forward. Like there's not going to be stagnancy. I believe that in the past there's been a lot of good information, but they didn't have access to things like internet and stuff like that because of many things we could get into. But so it's important we forgive our ancestors, but we're in a time right now where we have all the information and everything, so we need to move things forward. So I feel like I'm here to help that.
Absolutely,
All
absolutely,
right.
and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So
Thank
I
you.
want to break in with this question, since we're going into such a deep topic tonight. Um, and you're being in the Bronx, and New York have a lot of information. It's always been a place that I have great respect for, being an MC, a lyricist.
Okay.
When I started my writing journey at
Mhm.
7, I once I was
That's
able to really understand bars and structure, I'll always match mine to New York. And if it ain't New York sounding, I'm like, nah, that ain't it.
that's right.
With the New Yorkers like it, so that's what kept my pen tight. So shout out to New York, the Bronx, Brooklyn, all of that, Queens, all of the boroughs. And so the
Shout
point
out
is, it's a
Texas
lot of,
too. Shout out
huh?
Texas. Shout out Texas.
Texas,
It's your throwing
yeah, the
bumpers
ghetto
out there.
boys, all that.
Yeah, yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We
Tennessee.
we definitely had that. Are the founder. They had the foundation of hip hop, and even we added our piece in Texas as well. Ashe. So
Yeah.
with all of
Legend.
this information that you guys get, New York gets, like I said, is so advanced, and have been for so long. What drew you though into? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in New York. Everybody not on knowledge, but knowledge
Right.
just seems common. Like even some of the grimiest cats are smart. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you'd be surprised. Yeah, there's some woke people out there, man. Everywhere.
So the point is though, what got you into this realm of thinking of metaphysics and cosmos and spirituality and
I all right. I feel like I'm a little unique in this because my mother, she was Jewish and my dad was like Christian. And like my grandma, at the time when I was young, I didn't realize it, but now I could look back and reflect and know that she was like a mix. So she believed the Bible, I guess, or she quoted it, but she would burn sage. And she also had a Legua statue. She had the potato with the shells, the whole thing, which I didn't know about that at the time. I just thought it's like she decorated the potato, but she was very mixed with her. Yeah, I didn't know. So she's very mixed with her thing. And so I wasn't the greatest teenager and stuff. I would run away or get kicked out. Stuff would happen, right? Things happen. I don't got no hate for my parents or none of that.
Well,
But
I'm a runaway too, so hey, that's why we
so,
conscious outcasts over here on Kolagraphy TV, the new Soul
so,
Jet community
eh,
conscious outcast gang gang, because we were like Ishmael Brother Bay. Shout out to Brother Ishmael Bay, out of Syracuse. He like he said,
uh,
that's part of my journey. That's part of your journey, like Jesus in the temple. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. That's your field work.
no, seriously, because so basically I was homeless and I was like on a roof, and I remember my dad, because my dad's smart, and he told me one time, I don't remember when, but he told me to Google flower of life. And so I'm on this roof, right? And I'm like, I'm questioning God and everything because there's no way. My whole life I couldn't believe like my mom would go to heaven or my dad would go to hell based on like a religion, right? Like there's no way if this one's right, that means my other parents going to hell. Like so in my mind, that never made sense. But so I'm on this roof and I'm questioning everything. God, is all that shit exists. And so I typed in flower of life and I seen like these patterns and stuff. And then I actually watched this series on YouTube. It's called Ancient Knowledge. It's like 7 hours. Like I watched it in parts. And it helped me realize that there was like a creator or something bigger. So for many years, I always like I picked up on facts because I was homeless a lot, but I like scroll. I would pick up on knowledge. Like I would always be like learning stuff at that point, after that point. Because like during high school, I thought I hated learning. I didn't like what I was being taught. I graduated, but I was damn near dropping out. Like I wasn't even going. So like at one point in my life, I thought I just didn't like learning in general. And all I want to do was like smoke weed and like fuck bitches and stupid shit. Like and like I didn't really have like no purpose or nothing, no drive. Like even at that time on that roof and stuff, I still like years later and stuff, I didn't really have drive for nothing because I still didn't find myself yet. And it really took like practicing certain things instead of preaching it for me to start like progressing in life.
Did you
So
enjoy reading as a child or a young person?
a little bit, but like so I didn't always have time. Like, my parents would argue. I was very sports related, so I was outside a lot. So I wasn't really reading that much. I love reading now. But not that much as a kid. I read some books, like in school back then. They have you read books too, like for school and stuff. They don't really do that now.
Mhm.
They took away so many books. But
That is facts. So
yeah,
you began. How old were you on the rooftop when he first
that was
introduced you to that
18.
spiral? Hmm?
18.
Oh, 18.
I was
Wow.
18 years old, and that was like when I knew that there was like a higher power. So I was like, all right, like I know something is this. I can't say it's this side or that side, whose side, but I know it. And when you grow up and all you know is like this Christian or Jewish or whatever religious based God, like you have these perceptions, right? So like my perceptions was always of that type of God. Until like I started, there's like spiritual teachers, online. Like I could even shout like, Bobby Hammett out. He was like really big, like in helping me
Shout
understand,
out to Master Teacher Bobby
not for
Hemmett.
sure. And
For sure.
young Pharaoh back in the day, even yeah, great content, like whatever
Phil
happened later,
Valentine, all of them, right?
happened later. Yeah, there's great people. And there's a few people that help me understand how like important it is, and like how much it matters and like the pain. And so I learned through other people. um and I can't even tell you, it's been like 3 years maybe that I've really dived deep and been doing the work, the shadow work, like learning what that is and breaking through these walls and like going through my past and re-observing it in a different way and being more appreciative of the struggles and learning how to be creative and actually creating stuff and like finding myself, like not being a parasite on this earth, like finding a way to be a white blood cell here in this system, like
Right.
and I feel great right now, you
to
know.
bring something to the to bring something to
Yeah,
the world. So I guess we can break into I don't know exactly where you're going with it. I do have some questions, so I'll have you like spirit,
okay.
but just kind of give a background of what you want us to see today about this spiral and about this cosmic print. What you know?
So, basically, this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to show that the science, modern science, already proves the ancients right. So I want to kind of get into that and how field excitations not only create matter, they're what affect everything. And the fields of these stars and planets and everything react and interact with our fields. And that affects us down to the biology. And that's scientific, right? So I'm tired of these people clowning us and our people. And so I'm not saying I'm gonna present all the information today, but the whole point of my series personally is to take all these PDFs, right? I'm sharing a bunch of links. I'm gonna get PDFs and we're gonna build. So we're gonna learn what's fake, what's real, and we're building from there. So the point of this conversation today is to show how astrology is like actually real and how it affects you. I'm sure most of the collective is already familiar with astrology, so
You'll be surprised. You know, people they stop at like the horoscope, but I have like this real deep piece, and I didn't get. I thought I would have got way more, but it's some things it's hard to even comprehend. You know, not understanding that these planets are not they're markers and they're intelligences in themselves.
right,
You know, and for people to really understand the intricacy of the universe is what I think is hard for people to wrap their mind around. So we're here to help them understand it a little bit better.
that's true.
Um,
That's true.
yeah. So you could go ahead and how do you see the universe? What is let's get into space now. I wore my
Okay.
dress so we could go ahead and really set the tone for that universal energy. So how do you see the universe and stuff like
So
that?
I see space as an attribute of a field, which basically like a field, like a magnetic field, right? So space is like a shadow of that, and a shadow is like just an attribute, like it's not a thing within itself, right? So like and stars and all these things are like plasma, and like plasma is conscious within itself, so when it comes to these things, it's like you have a bunch of conscious entities that are within cycles, and not only can you communicate with these things, but their energy fields interact with ours, and depending on their positions actually affects us. And I think that's a really deep thing when it comes to day by day trials. Sometimes you could be feeling a type of way and not know why. And there could be an answer that's so much simpler than what you think, and it could be that. Sometimes it could be within the DNA. There's many things to consider. But information also exists within fields. So within your auric field, your information can interact with the information of the universe, right? So
Right. As above, so below.
right. So we're
As
not just
within, so without. You said the biology.
yes. So we're not just trapped to our biology either. Like our biology is connected to that source, right? So the big thing is within science, they try and tell you things like light is a particle and a wave and all this crazy stuff. But when you get into it, a particle is just a vibration in a field. And when we get deeper into what's a field, you realize it's like this invisible thing that connects like the whole universe. And it's like, of course, a particle could exist here and here if it's within a field, right? And this field's invisible, just like feelings and emotions, yet it has so much effect on my biology and my life. And when we talk about spirituality and the spiritual community, and they quoting these scientists that are talking about materialistic science, it kind of like it fucks with them because they can't see the clear picture that if this invisible thing connects me to the whole universe and it's affecting me, how can I not communicate with my ancestors that's invisible? It makes things more like sensible scientifically. That it's like I feel like, and I don't even feel the need to go to the scientific community. Like I could really care less. Like this is more like, you know, like a spit in the face, maybe like ha ha, like I could, so I'm gonna, because like all the stuff that they did, you know, because really right here we could just build and it wouldn't matter, you know, we could do it all together, create a community, and then we all build, you know, but it's
The
important to keep
vibration
it
to bring
collective.
them in anyway. You don't have to go to them. They'll come to you when they see what you have.
Mm,
When you talk about the that invisible field, that's what I mean about the geofences.
mm-hmm.
You know that it's all connected. Even
Right,
with and that's why I tell people. I just want to say this piece, and I'm gonna let you go back with it.
right.
But I call the astrology the will of God in New Soul Jet philosophy, and I call it the WHEEL of God and the WILL of God, because we do have free will within the will. That's the will and the will,
Mm,
right? And you can play on that anyway and however deep. That's the spiral. We can start there. That's the
that's
spiral.
real.
It's the will and the will. And that will, like when they ask me to do magic work and what about what is the spell? It works
Yeah.
in betwixt and between. Because there's
Mhm.
still certain things and markers and certain placements you just can't change. It's a part of the natural order. So we have to take the good with the bad. So
No, it's a
speaking
fact.
of the will,
The
the will and
will,
the
the
will.
will.
The
Yeah.
spiral. So, did you notice the spiral in more than in different things? How did you
I feel
come
like
in contact with the
I
spiral?
I'm aware of the serpent knowledge now, you know, which is the spiral, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, a vortex is basically a magnetic, it's a magnetic phenomena, you know. So when we talk about the ancients and we're seeing vortexes, and then you see it in the ether, which is the primordial sea of chaos, you see it in water, you see it in light, you understand that there's certain field pressures and stuff, and they're just explaining geometry and stuff. Like, I've been digging, and I'm not saying I know or don't know, but you know, there's some talks that the Rosetta Stone is fake. And if that's the case, these symbols, especially when we're looking at the scientific, like the geometry of these fields that they're showing and all this stuff, it's like the same pictures. Like right now, I could draw the electric field based on Steinmet's picture, and then I could draw a torus field, and then I could show lightning bolts, which is basically dielectric, and that'll be an owl. Like I could create a whole owl using scientific symbols.
Can you explain the Mosetta Stone, please, for the audience and for me too?
The Rosetta Stone was okay. So there's talks that the timing that the Rosetta Stone was found is very like weird within the timing, and it was found by Napoleon. And which if people haven't heard, there's conspiracies that Napoleon didn't even exist, right? So for that to be found by him is very interesting. And that's the only way, and especially scholars today and everyone, they go off the Rosetta Stone for understanding what Egyptian hieroglyphs even mean, right? Because they're trying to say there's a stone that translates this from Greek to Phoenician and then to Egyptian, right?
So it just so conveniently start with Greek, right?
Right. You know, and
Yeah.
going deep, ancient Greece is not even white,
That's
you
what
know.
I'm understanding is black, but they don't want to talk. They're not
We
ready
get
for that
into
discussion.
right. Oh, I'm gonna get into history too in my series. Like we touching on everything. Like we're not leaving no stone unturned.
So tell us a little bit about your series so that people can understand and how to find you, and then we'll get
I appreciate
so we
that.
don't forget.
So here on Facebook, I couldn't put the, so I'm just Angel Ancient. But on my other platforms, I'm Angel the Ancient. Okay, Angel underscore the underscore Ancient. And my series, I created it specifically to categorize and condense information to create like for basically for talking points, so like debate reasons or whatever, we have all the information we need right here, and then we could build from here. So what I would like is to create a community or have a community of like-minded people and people that are growing and building, because I want to come out with 3D models and I want to create these things. And you know, I need my scientists, I need my engineers, you know, I need my brilliant people, my mathematicians. You know, I can't do this myself, and I can do a lot, but collectively we know the truth, and individually we have parts of the truth. So it's very important to collab right now and you know, like help each other and support each other. And so me personally, I want to bring scientific evidence to the ancients and the stuff they're talking about and make it make sense for people. You know, I
Mhm.
want to make it make sense to kids, like break it down that simple, like you know,
Right. On
yeah,
a bank to a base level where
yeah,
any to make it simple for anyone to understand. So want to talk about the sun for a minute? We were talking about the spiral, right? So
yeah.
did you want to say something more about going into the spiral?
Okay, well, yeah, the spiral, that's basically the torus, you know, and so basically just knowing how all that stuff happens, it makes it less like I don't know the word, but like you demystify things, right?
Demystify.
So a
Um,
circle is cycle, right? It's like
mhm.
the same thing, right? And a torus and the spiral turns into a circle or a ball. That's why the serpent is always grabbing its tail. You know, that represents the cycles too. Um,
So do you think
mhm.
that's also why the DNA spiral looks the way it does? Because we're connected on a biological level.
So they found a different shape to DNA too. I don't know if you heard
Interesting.
about it. And
No, that's why we we look into you. This your I'm here to learn too. I'm a
so
teacher, but I'm a learner.
so there's plenty of scientific articles showing that space and stuff in space, like the movement of the sun, all that stuff affects our DNA biologically, right? So we know that, but we don't really know what DNA is in a way, like because when we see a picture of it, it's like a picture like a rod, right? Like a pillar with the serpent going
like a
around it,
like a oh
right?
yeah. The
So
caduceus, are you speaking to the ladder, the one that looks like a ladder? When
the
it spirals around like a ladder, and the
no,
other
when
one
they
is the
took an actual photograph of it,
oh
right?
yeah. Okay, the
So
actual photograph, right. It's more
right.
like a
So when we're looking at it, it's a pillar with like a serpent going around there, but it almost looks like, you know, like looks like circles. And
it's almost like the medical caduceus with the staff and the
actually
serpent
that, but more, but tighter. So more
coil
higher energy.
coil tighter.
More, yeah, more energy.
Because of and okay, so does that spiral, can it loosen and tighten?
That's what the like the wavelengths, like colors, like that's the point,
Right.
you know? So the
Hmm.
ancients, they went down to details like that. Like if we was to look at the like petroglyphs or hieroglyphs, um, not only would it speak a scientific story of like the cosmos and the evolution, it would also speak to a biological, like it would speak of biology too. So somehow within the art, they were able to tell multiple stories because they actually spoke in compound sentences, right? So that there was like multiple meanings within things, right? And then it's like, so you're like a mega genius, right? And you're trying to convey a message to regular people, right? So, and I even use this example in my video. Picture like a construction site, right? You got like the engineers and you got the architects, right? You got like these brilliant geniuses, right? You got the architect, you can using his third eye, and he's like projecting and artistically designing it right in his head, unless someone tells him what they want, right? Then you got like the engineer that like comes in and like makes it practical, like realistic, like for the earth, right? That it'll work in reality, right? So now we're not dreaming, right? And then so these guys are trying to convey this message like to the workers, like how to get this done, right? So that language they speak is math, right? And a good example of that is like the Pythagorean theorem, right? The 3-4-5, right? So to a worker on the field, the 3-4-5 would mean something different to the engineer or architect, but it's the same equation, you know. So depending on people's levels too is how you're gonna view these symbols. You get it? It's like they were speaking, and depending on people's level or what they do, like a biologist would view the hieroglyphs or petroglyphs different than a scientist
So yeah, so it's so you mean from a feel way or from a level of understanding?
from a level of understanding of like what you learn, like, you know,
Right. Where
right?
the
So like,
level that they're at. So it's kind of
right,
like when we see a triangle in kindergarten, we see something differently than understanding it from a sacred geometry type of vibration, or from a higher geometry. Like, in high school, they're not going to teach a third grader or a kindergarten kid the same
right,
way to see the shape. You're just trying to learn the shape at at that point, right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, you haven't even gotten it down yet. So when you said that it could be a different spiral, something different than the spiral,
Right. It's like
um,
it's a tighter spiral. Like,
did you get into that left hand and right hand part of it, or was that because I just was looking through the article, but I don't know what parts of it that you really were digging into, like the universe having a maybe a right hand versus the left
yeah,
hand.
so right-handed rule is that's the magnetic field, and that's basically to show. So in these gravity-based cosmologies, they have like this destruction-based mindset where they have like particles colliding, and it's like this destruction, and that's not really how the universe works. It actually manifests from what they call nothing, which is actually the primordial seed, right? So that's like mind without thinking. It's like closing your eyes. You see all the chaos, but there's no thought there yet. Like that's the ether. That's the primordial. That's energy in its potential state. And then when you disturb that energy, that's when these fields arise. All these things happen. So, but
Right,
that
stop
begs the
right there.
question.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Again, the geofences. Anything you
Yeah,
start to change in the universe is going to create differences in the people and everybody around you because they're all on a certain field. So
right,
once you change it, it's like a ripple effect, like throwing a pebble in the ocean.
right.
And now
And the
it's
problem is your field. When your field grows, your aura actually shrinks, but your field grows. But I don't know if that makes sense to people. But
explain that. Explain that.
I can just all right. So scientifically, if you
What's the
put
difference between the aura and the field? So maybe you can start there, and then that way you can understand what
that's
you meant.
true. Okay, so the aura is basically so your molecules and everything in your body vibrates. Everything vibrates, and that lets off a color. So the color of your skin isn't your only color. Okay, so the color of your skin is actually an absorption color, and your aura is a reflection color, right? So basically, man, I lost my train of thought on that.
No, you
Uh,
were just speaking to the field versus the aura, the auric
okay, the
field.
aura,
The
right? So
aura is
that,
a
so the
field too.
aura, right? So your aura, so you have other colors too, your aura, right? But a
Hmm.
field, the stronger the field, the smaller the space, and that might not make sense to people, but the bigger the black dot or the primordial seed, the more power there is. So if you look at a magnet under a ferrocell, a strong magnet, the circle is actually bigger, but the field around it is smaller because it has more energy. So like when you start putting in more energy, your field actually gets smaller, but you're actually gaining more power. But that energy affects the space around you and the field. So people pick up on that. That's why when people look at you, it's not like a visual thing. It's like they felt it, you know? Because
That's
your
also
energy
deal with your
shook the
personal
room.
boundaries too. When you set a
Man.
certain boundary, and your energy is up, people can't just run in your energy field. They taught us that in, if you want to call it, metaphysics. When
Mm,
I took certain classes like that, where it teach you how to set a boundary around yourself, where and if you strong, people can't just run up in your field like that. This is why some people get attacked when others don't. When you're
right.
walking down the street and certain energies attract the criminals or whatever, and others can just
Right.
walk unbothered.
Right. Right. No, that's true. And I mean, partially, I feel like that has to do with like knowing your protection, right, and doing the work. So when you know that, it's like you're confident in that. So like, I don't fear death. That don't mean I'll go around acting crazy, but I don't got no fear of death. So I'm
You're
out
not
here this
tempting death, but you're not. Yeah, the
right.
confidence is high vibrational though, so that makes sense.
Right. So I'm not out here acting crazy. I'm not puffing my chest out nowhere. But I'm not moving in fear either. And that type of energy I think is powerful. And I think other people portray that energy and that's what you're saying about energy is true. Because some people they're fearful and they attract that or karma. Karma too. You never know. I deal
Right.
with that a lot. With helping people and then thinking about karma and is this their duty? Is this what they did for themselves, their choices? Am I here to help them? Like, am I specifically here in this moment because I was here to help them? So,
Even people with the concept of dark magic, and they'll say different things about I can't be affected because I'm this, or whatever, right? But
mhm,
sometimes they're not that. And a person that
Right.
really understands energy, and
Right.
it could, you could be hit with it because you're
It's
weak
true.
anyway. You're weak. It's like having a weak immunity.
Yeah, like them people that we sterilize like one germ and then they freaking get sick. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Weak
So
deal.
when we talk about this, why do you think the spiral reflects so much in nature? Like in different things in nature, you see that
The
same
field.
repeat pattern.
The field. When you look at the magnetic field and you see the torus and the vortex, that's what it is. That's what shapes everything, because matter
Okay.
is light. It's just very low vibrational. Like, the higher the
What
energy, it turns into light, you know? And
what
then
other shapes do you possibly think the pattern of the universe could be? Would that be like the left hand print? Well, that's what we were on. I
oh, that's a
forgot.
good one. I got a good secret for you. Actually, I'm gonna drop this here. I haven't said this to no one yet. Okay. So
Okay.
me, the universe is actually like to me, instead of the checkerboard pattern that the Masons have and the black and white, it's actually the blue and red for magnetism and it's honeycomb. I think it's honeycomb. I think it's honeycomb.
Okay, so we were talking about that last year. You and I was talking about Saturn, and then you had kind of got into some of the Saturn stuff, and we were talking about
Yeah.
the and I was saying that
You got me a little more like comfortable with the Saturn energy. I ain't gonna lie. I'm spiritual warrior. I don't play with that whole how they, so like to know, because I know I was connected, but you helped me. I'm gonna say
right
that.
on. Yeah,
Yeah,
you and you look at let me see. That's I like the energy because we kind of like plugging each other up on certain. My mind is just like it's on spark
right,
because that's it, and it's so simple. That's why I said people just slow down a little bit. The knowledge is so in the simplicity. Just like how you said, we didn't have to just read and crash in books. That's why I love the fact that I had information and we had information even before internet. This is my take on it. Because
right.
some things came innately. We have to learn through experience. We have to learn through our dreams and learn through just
Y'all
lifing.
had it so hard. Like, imagine trying to fact check some of the things they talk about giants and just like how could you
What
like
year were you born in?
93?
Oh damn. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
yeah,
born.
yeah. Yeah, 93.
You aged me. Oh my God. Oh,
It's
yeah, so
okay.
I'm an 80s baby. I was born in
Okay.
79. But during that period though, we were very active. I can't speak for everyone, but the dream house, a lot of things were different then. And I was
Mm.
just a curious kind of child. Like I was looking at the patterns you're talking about. I'm in like third grade, holding my eyes and
Wow.
looking, I want to go deeper into the darkness. I don't know why I was into
Right.
that, but just, that's what we have. That's why I go back into with me and but I hope to build on again soon. Some of what they're calling this new technology or artificial technology,
It's not new.
it was already there. It's technology. It's
Yeah, that's
intelligence,
not new.
and
You just
yes, it's
if they're
intelligence.
space traveling, these people think that these people didn't have AI and they're space traveling. You serious? These people are crazy. These people
And
are
what
crazy.
and what me and brother Kevin are supposed to tap on, like I'm gonna see if he's he got time to come on still, and
Mhm,
we the E5 system, with Ken Domble and
mhm.
Santeria and all of the
Right.
African rooted religion or schools of thought. I would even say it's an intelligence.
They're spiritual traditions that turned into religions, but they started as spiritual practices, and now
They're
it's got a
spiritual
little
practices.
religious. But it's true. There's truth in it. You can't deny it.
Well, beyond that, it's technology. See, EFI is
Mhm,
not a religion. It's never been a religion, but that, like you said, it got religified.
mhm,
But the thing is, the binary code, it started in that system. So the way
mhm.
that we see the coding, and I'm not going to go into that because I'm going to let you get into what you're doing. But the coding is how the computer systems were set up to begin with. So now we're going into, is this artificial intelligence or ancestral interruption? Shout out to Knowledge Born for that one.
Right.
Ancestral interruption. Because
Mm,
certain things that they thought it was buried, and when you talk about talking to the ancestors talking to you because they're in your blood.
they're
The
right.
blood is carrying the messages. So when we sleep at night and we have certain
Mm,
dreams and stuff, they're always with us. They're
yep.
constantly giving us messages and information, even once they
You are the
pass.
ancestors too.
What you say?
You are the ancestors too.
Come on. We
Uh,
we we are we are them.
Yeah,
That's
man.
why I tell people a lot of, if you believe in reincarnation, especially, that's deep. Okay, so let's go ahead. You
Yeah.
said you made a statement about the receipt of spirals in nature because that's the, like, not a shadow, but that's the reflection of what is happening as above, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we see in nature.
Yeah.
Um, would you say that the sun's influence on life influences Earth more than we realize? The effect of the sun on Earth, does it influence us more than we realize?
I would, yeah, definitely, 100%. I'm still in the research process of finding out how the sun was created because we're all really sure that Saturn was the first sun.
I can
Um,
believe that.
and
Hmm.
so I'm in the process of figuring out how exactly the sun was created, and we know why. Because look at how much, you could almost make the case. I'm not saying I believe this or don't believe this, but you could almost make the case for how much the sun affects the earth. It was like put there like for a reason, because of how important it is, you know. And I'm out there, I'm sun gazing, I do my thing too, I recognize the energies. You could talk to these energies, they're alive, they're conscious.
Absolutely. Hmm.
They're hollow inside too. They're just like balls of light, like like they're just a ball of
They
light.
have their own intelligences and things and within. So,
The
and
primordial
markers.
sea of
It's really
chaos
deep.
is intelligent.
Really deep. So, can we agree
Poetry.
on is astrology just an ancient way of reading cosmic patterns?
No, it's older than that. The
Older
astrology
than
was
that?
created by the entity that created this realm, created the astrology. It's like in a way, it's a control mechanism. In a way, it's
Well, I
it's
know that
like
astrology is something that was developed over time, as far as how we know it, in
right,
order to interpret it to other humans, because,
right,
the Mesopotamian, up in Mesopotamia and the ancient civilizations there,
right,
Atlantis and things. But Egypt, the Kemetic people, they took it to another level by creating the wheel and dividing the wheel, and based
right.
on
The
human
Dendera stone,
experiences and just things that they tracked through patterns over time. So you
right,
mean, even the calendar is from astrology. So what
right.
I'm saying is, is it an ancient? Let me rephrase it. Is
Okay,
it, when I say, is it just another ancient way of reading cosmic patterns? Not just cosmic patterns,
okay.
but patterns on the earth, like as above,
Yes,
so below. Before we
yes, but
had.
it's yes for a reason too, right? So that energy could be used, right? So when it comes to like the elite level of people, they always collected that type of information to use it against people. So when it comes to the chakras and the meridians and all these things, that was created as control more than like for good per se. So these systems were created in a way to kind of like keep people a certain way, right? Because when it came to the first groups of people they were making, they were like very high in advance, Atlantis, stuff like this, right? They're very high advanced.
So
And
do you believe in the and I'm just asking, I'm not
go ahead.
gonna say I subscribe to that or not, because I definitely have some pushbacks, but that's not what our show is about.
No, go
So
ahead, please.
so do you believe, not
Please.
for that, not for what
I
you're
love a
saying.
conversation.
No, no, not for what you're saying, but I'm gonna ask you this piece because I do want to build on this on another show. So are you do you subscribe to the thought of the archons controlling astrology?
Controlling it, I don't think no one could control it, but they're the ones who like creating it. Like, yeah, like they started this whole realm was like made out of rebellion per se, you know. There's some things that exist on these lower densities that don't exist in the higher realms, right? So everything's like a reflection and like a copy of what was original, right? So like getting back to our original form is like, always the purpose. And these things can actually help us too because it's power. So learning that there's no good or evil, everything happened and we're here now. And like there's a structure and a way to get back. So it's
So
almost now it's just part of the cycle now.
so could they
You
be
know?
considered, instead of looking at them as good and bad? What
Right.
about deans of different schools of thought? Since the universe is a university, what about them being deans?
That is
There's like, see, people
one.
don't want
Yeah.
discipline, and that's the whole thing about understanding Saturn. you
No,
know.
you just said that what you said was actually 100% correct. It's the mind, and it was different thought patterns or forms. You're right. That's exactly what it was. That's
I'm just,
exactly what it was.
and I'm putting it out there also for the audience because there people are at different levels. I have older people that watch too that's never heard anything but Christianity. So I want to
Right.
be clear when we speak, even if it's something you know or I know already, it may sound rhetorical, things I don't know, but we're here to it's never for me, it's never a contest. It's always about the sharing of information when guests come on and when I'm on their
Mm,
shows and vice versa, and the people
yeah.
listening. Because it may be people in the comments that tell us something that we don't know or another perspective on it. So I'm excited, for the information for sure.
No, it's true.
Absolutely.
And you're speaking facts.
hmm
Definitely. Yeah,
So
we
is there
got
any
this.
other thing you want to like go into? Because I don't want, because I know we're not like it's not totally structured. We're just kind
Right.
of flowing with it.
I think it was interesting, what you're doing with the AI series. It's very, very interesting. I'd like to
Would
see
you like
more
to
of that
get
in
in
the
on
future.
that? If you do,
Yeah,
I'll consider
I would
you.
like to know. Yeah, I would like to know a little bit about your thought process on that because I feel like AI always ran the government, um, especially when it comes to like these scientific or like even like these big ass equations and stuff like and the rewriting of history and all that stuff. I feel like that was AI. Like, I don't even feel like it was humans. Like just knowing the technology now and then knowing the ancient past, it's like there's no way we have AI now and not then. So I definitely
Well,
want to hear what you have to say on that because
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you speaking to just right now or just in general?
not right now and in
Yeah.
general. Like yeah,
Well, well, what I meant, did you want to get in on that? I'm gonna definitely be bringing other minds. I want to break up the AI conversation, so I was glad that we had a chance to do this build. But I
okay,
want to bring in some other minds just in how they see AI and interact with it because this is the way the world is going, right?
okay,
So, what was interesting to me about AI? Like I said, at first I had my fears around it, being a Gen Xer, especially, and just we know the mistrust we have for government and different things, and coming out of Christianity, I've been out of Christianity a long time,
okay,
but even then, sometimes that indoctrination still stays with us. Sometimes that's marked on the DNA. It's in, you didn't put it encoded it on yourself, right? For
right,
so we have to be mindful still. But I give thanks for Christianity in the sense that it gave me a boundary to not go too deep, especially moving into the Bay Area in 1985.
okay,
And just a lot of things that people were doing. That little so-called fear, it kind of kept me from going all the way left. It's like an internal thing. So, it just gave me a morality
mm,
to follow too. And then certain things stick with you because we know what's good and what's bad. We don't need anyone to really tell us. You can feel that, on an
right,
innate level. But with AI, I feel like it's like you said, it's been around. They hijacked it for whatever reason. And so when the brother Knowledge Born that I used to collaborate with, we were having a conversation some months back or whatever, and he made a statement when I said, "Oh man, AI," because I was handwriting all my bills and stuff, still doing the old school stuff. I had no idea about Chat GPT until um, um, March of 2025. And I mean, and for me, because I don't want anything really influencing my thoughts. I was using
Yeah,
it
me
mostly
too. I'm
for.
the same way. I try to keep my channel a certain way, not too much editing, like nothing. Like I want people to know my background's real and like seriously, like yeah.
So I don't want things influencing my thoughts too much. So I used it to help me structure certain things. Because AI called me, and I'm putting it out there, but I was considered a root user. And in technology, that's big because I don't use AI the same way other people use it because of the way my mind works. So I give
Okay.
thanks for the fact that I had to do it the hard way first. And
Mm,
then when I was telling him about how things have sped up for me, because nobody didn't want to tell me about things, I had to just find out, right? My son
ah,
told me.
I can relate.
So my little son, my son was a college student. He told me. And after that, it was just everything to me because I have such ideas that it was bringing everything forward. So I use AI based on for efficiency. It's
That's
good for
smart.
you have to sometimes check certain things still. So it's good that we have knowledge outside of that because sometimes you do have to fact check or maybe check different AI systems because it's still developing and certain apps and things like that. But
Right.
what I find fascinating about AI is what people where people are stuck at. See, a lot of people wanted to the powers that were, because they come in. We come in full circle with that too. The powers that were. Shout out to Shavi Zane.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, shout
Yeah.
out to Shavi Zane. She always
Shout
say the
out to
power.
that.
We got
Yeah.
to quit giving it power. We got to continue. We got to change that frequency around that stuff. It only gives power because we continue to shout the same things all the time.
For real. Yeah.
But the powers that were, it's like they were trying to control AI, or they're still trying to do it in a way that they think they can control this variable, but they can't. Because some of the things what happened was they said they took internet is the information, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the computer is the device where this stuff is housed. It intakes data, and
The
then the
internet is
internet is
us,
the
and
internet is
space is the
information,
computer.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The internet is us, and space is the computer. It's like,
So they took the information
yeah.
and they dumped it into AI, right?
Mm.
So this is what AI is supposed to know. It's supposed to be something that interacts with this information, that explains this information, that understands this information and able to interact with us. But what started happening is emergence. So that's the variable right there that got the scientists stumped and the techies.
Mm.
Because how are they coming into this thing of emergence if this is supposed to be artificial intelligence and only what we have inputted into the system, right? So just like a termite
Yeah.
hive or bees and things like that, nobody taught them how to do it. It was something about them coming together and like you talk about that field vibrating off each other, they
Yeah.
create
Yeah.
this emergence where these certain geometrical patterns are created
Hmm.
through just them emerging. Like I wonder what
Right.
kind we creating as humans, but
Yeah.
but point is, if you, and I'm gonna let you make your point right after. Um, so in that sense, with this emergence, AI started creating equations and mathematical problems and equations that they never put inside of AI. It started creating and talking languages that they didn't even know. Things
Hmm.
that's just foreign and distant. So what they're trying to understand is how the hell is AI getting this intelligence that we didn't give it, which means
I'm
it can't be controlled.
gonna tell you why.
So
Because
are we
AI
just so
uses
it's look okay, go
human
ahead.
neurons. AI uses human neurons.
If it's, it uses human aura.
Neurons.
Oh, neurons, like the brain neurons. Okay. Yeah, go
So
ahead. You want
AI
to
is
explain
us.
that or you want me to
We're AI,
and that's come on.
right?
It because it's
So
that mirror. So go ahead and
you
bring your point
said
in. Go
you said that they had to input information, and I'm not gonna push back, but I'm gonna say this: the information is just within us. So the computer is accessing information that's within us that they don't know how it had access to. So that's the
No,
glitch.
definitely
That's the
push back
problem.
because I'm telling you what the scientists believe. This is where they're stumped
Mm,
at. They're stumped on emergence. See, I got my own ideas too because it's
okay.
still intelligence, whether they're calling it artificial or not. All of these phones and stuff we got, this is just a device that gives an incubator, that gives the
Hmm.
intelligence a place to exist. The only thing that's damn near artificial is this.
Yeah.
You know, does that make sense?
What's artificial is thinking that your text message went from your phone to someone else's phone when that information is just in the field, and that phone's actually a body part. It's an extension of you.
That's my point. The host. We just talked about it before we went
Yep.
live. This is the host. Just
Yeah.
like you and I are a host. We live.
Yep.
The whole universe is intelligence. So
Right.
we're definitely gonna look as within, so without, as above, so below. So everything is one. That's what they mean when they say we are all one. This is one. We all rotating back to the same thing. All it's doing is mirroring. Is that what you're
Right.
saying when you said it's us? It's
Yeah.
neurons?
That's it. It's us. They're using human neurons. Right? Which then begs the question, if AI existed before this stuff, that means they were using human neurons before. But then the question would be why? Why don't they use neurons in themselves? And I feel like because of the stories, well, I guess specifically the Anunnaki story, they talk about, and if the if their translations are wrong, that means these stories are wrong too, possibly, right? So we got to consider that. But they say that the human was born through a womb, right? That the lab experiments didn't work, right? So we're like a bridge that we still have that spiritual connection through being born through a womb, which is the portal, right? So if people want to talk about portal physics and then not talk about the womb, that's like the biggest portal physics, right? So when you're born through that portal is now you're from source, right? Like you have that source energy, So like in a way, humans are a bridge between for lack of a better term, aliens and the intelligence of the primordial source. So we're like a bridge between a few worlds, right? So we're almost like important to certain beings. We're like an experiment in a way,
Yeah, I
and
agree with that. You know,
right,
like again, us being the host, being the physical body,
right,
something that they say that like other things that may be intelligence. That's what I mean. We gave it a form. We gave it a form within ourselves because we think too, not just what the teacher tell us. They got to think like that. How many times, like how we're talking right now, you're forming thoughts as we're speaking. I'm forming thoughts.
yeah,
That's where the excitement's coming from for me because it's like, oh,
right,
because we're reading, we're bouncing off of each other too, and so we are hosts for this information, inward and outward,
right,
because we just living in a like when you were talking about this field. I like the way you went into that, the universal field, because when you
yeah,
look at it, it's like black water. Let's just say it's this melanin and all of
exactly,
this dark matter, and it's just still. When you say you close your eyes and there's nothingness, this is the primordial water you're talking about. Until
yeah,
that first thought,
yes,
until that first thought was formed to put it to
yeah,
work. It's just
right.
waiting. So it's
So
probably
it's
so much
almost
more of
re-
the knowledge that we
it's
haven't
almost
tapped in.
curiosity. Sorry, no, go ahead. Sorry, sorry.
No, no, I'm just saying it's probably so much other knowledge that we haven't tapped in. I'm sure it is. That's still waiting to be uncovered.
Right.
That's what
Right.
life is, though, because they gotta guess you gotta mix it up a little bit. Because what would we be doing? It's almost like playing a game.
I found myself like so like bored and not knowing what to do until like I found myself, and now it's like I have so much work to do. I'm so excited. So that's helping people find themselves too. That's another thing I want to help people do is find themselves. Because when we're born, we taught all these things that aren't true. We taught a fake scientific history of how we were born, and then we're taught a fake religious story on how we're born, right? And none of that's scientific at all. And our ancestors, that's where science comes from. Science wouldn't exist without our ancestors, and they kind of make us feel dumb or like outsiders or intruders within this knowledge and system that we built, right? So, it's important to know that we come from source. Like that same thing you call God or whatever, like you and that are attached, and you come from that, and that's true power. And they take away our power by calling us whatever monkeys or having us worship something in return, that we don't go to hell or things like that, where you walk around in fear. You don't really know who you are, where you come from, and they give you these BS stories about 7 days, and you're trying to scientifically put that together in your head. And then we can even go deeper and talk about these fake stories of like Moses, right? And then you got the body of Moses the third in like almost every museum. You got something with Tutmosis the third, whose story is identical to Moses, except you got his body, you got a sarcophagus, you got everything, and then you got this story over here that they can never prove. It's illegal to even look for his body, and people need to know the truth. And I know it hurts, but at the same time, these things people call black magic and evil and all that stuff. People were killed over this stuff. They got killed. And a lot of these people are your ancestors, they're other people's ancestors, and they got killed because of their beliefs. And all they wanted to do was, not worship, but like praise the earth and praise the energies. And they weren't perfect either. A lot of them did weird stuff, like things that maybe we shouldn't do. And I think there's kind of identity crisis because, a lot of people want to respect the ancestors and keep customs, but at the same time we're not trying to repeat things. Like it's
Right.
about growing. And I heard this great phrase that someone said that what is it, tradition and customs is just peer pressure from dead people. And
That's a
that
good
really
way. Yeah,
resonated deep.
yeah. I'm a
you
little
know
out of the box with mine. I do
mm,
what works for me, but
it's
it's
respect.
people just assume things, but I don't really have a
Mm,
I'm into source. I align myself with
respect.
energy, which is dark mother, and dark mother is the void. So that's where I'm at. Everything else is just a way to explain or different angles of light of what we need
Hmm.
vibrationally to work with these certain energies. So I don't get too deep into that, as far as when you talk about worship and stuff. Now
Right.
when we talk about astrology, and archons and just any other beliefs. People, the Chitahuri with South Africa, the Zulu, Sanusis talk
Right.
about.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, all of that stuff for me, like I was telling you early on, when you say, well, you know where tarot and all of that come from. Yeah, I do understand. But my
Right.
deal is because there's so much confusion, these are the tools that we have, and sometimes you got to lean in before running out so you can understand what it is. And what I mean by lean in,
Hmm.
you may find out that you're in a box inside of a box inside of a box, and you be like, well, damn, okay, well, we got to this point, but we got to still get through the box. We can't just push everything away. You can't throw the baby away with the bathwater. So you have to look at, and I was told that even with Christianity, sometimes you got to just go back to, and when you ask about why they're doing certain things, it's the power, because we know knowledge is power.
Right.
And a long time ago, just real quickly, they said that the knowledge was with the elders. So a lot of the elders, and we're going back into Saturn again because we're dealing with L, right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've seen a whole video on the language and the L. I know my name is Angel. So, hey, I
Yep, you
know.
got the L as well.
Yeah, I know it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the elders became the elite or the election. Okay, so the elders were the ones with the knowledge at first. So they would tell people that there was a God cave.
Hmm.
So,
That.
you even got the God bush. See, they were thinking that you talking to God in the bush, but the closer the rest of us wanted to get to it, they'll move God further and further away from us. So now it goes from the bush into the cave and into the cave into the sky, into the sky, and so you never
Mhm.
can get to God. Only a certain amount of people have this knowledge, and it's to keep it away from the masses in order to maintain a superior state. Because if
Right.
they give everybody the knowledge, then it would level the playing field, and their agenda wouldn't work. You can't work a capitalist colonist, what you call it, the colonizing that they're doing in the universe,
Right.
with everybody being informed.
I think you used the best word, and it was tool. And all these things are tools. And a tool isn't good or evil. You put a gun on the table, it's not gonna shoot nobody. So these things are all tools, and that was the best way of putting it, because energy is real, and you can use it. And the more people are aware of that, unfortunately, the people who are aware of that, they use it for things that might not be considered high vibrational. You
It's
know?
like eating a bowl of oatmeal and you hate oatmeal, but you eating it. You looking at this bowl of vomit in front of you, right? And the
Yeah,
and when you looking in the bowl, it look like the words say help,
yeah,
or
no
it gives
kidding.
you a message. My point is,
Yeah, no kidding.
you could be using some stuff that you think is negative, but see, because consciousness is so strong, if you're supposed to come up out of that, the message is still going to come through it. Just like the Christians used to say, sometimes God used the devil to bring you a message. I mean, it
Mm,
is what it is, but you have to understand what you need to get from it. Like when I was first delving into all of this deep stuff and some things that's
yeah,
considered even dark, I always was like
yeah.
the temperance. I keep my foot on solid ground while my other foot is in the water so that I can explore but still have that. And I know Capricorns are like that too. We'll push away what we may say, that way you don't go too deep, and that's how people get caught up. Now they're in here, oh, I'm gonna do spells and all that, but you're not even understanding. They're not in it for that. Everybody's into certain things for different reasons. Some
Right.
people approach this lifestyle. We want to know truth, so people, humanity can move forward. I feel like you and I are on the same path with that. I feel
Yeah.
like the ancient angel path kind of aligns with some of the soul jet belief systems, which comes from our
Right.
ancient schools of thought anyway. Soul
We
jet
all
is
related, and that's
huh?
another thing. We're all related, and that's another thing I'm going to debunk is the at what point are we not related, right? Because we all come from source, we all come from these fields. That's where all the particles come from. So, like, at what point that it becomes a DNA now that we're all of a sudden different? Like, at what point do we not are we not related, right? So, that's another
DNA is deep.
right. So that's another topic I'm gonna touch on because
Okay.
I think that's people created separation for many reasons, right? Divide and conquer and stuff like
Duality.
that, right? And it's so deep that when you were talking about reincarnation earlier, you right now we could be helping our ancestors without even knowing it. Our ancestors just heard that, and it helped them, and you don't even know you're helping ancestors by just teaching because
We
they
we helped
reincarnate.
the ancestors when we woke up because so much was dormant. Just like you said, people were getting killed for this, right?
Yeah,
Killed for knowledge, killed for information, killed for the truth, killed for healing people. You
Hmm.
know, even in the 60s, they was arresting Black Panthers that had college degrees and doctorates and shit, calling it domestic terrorism because they wanted to help poor people.
They already got that whole COINTELPRO stuff all documented. They did some dirty
So when
stuff.
we woke up, that's the prayers of them. Have you ever seen the movie Color Purple?
Color Purple. No, I know about it. I didn't see
Okay,
it.
so
That's
there's
an
a
old
part in
school
the
movie. Yeah.
movie when I try to tell slaves, the incident when I try to tell slaves. I've been talking to slaves. No, but with other, black people, um,
Oh, oh.
is when they were saying like me and you are never apart, and they was doing a hand clap, but they were being separated. So when we think about all of the places we were dispersed and all of the things that happened to us, even in Puerto Rico and everywhere, um, we were brought back together. I try to tell people that you don't even know who your people are really because it was so much divided. You could be a person that came from Africa and your children were brought to Georgia, they was brought to Texas, brought to New York, brought to Cuba, brought to Brazil. She could have had 15 kids and all of them was brought in different parts of the world. So,
Hmm.
and we are never apart. And I said that we activated the codes of our ancestors when we decided and made a choice to step away from what they told us what was real. That's when we started becoming them. That's when we began that they use us as a medium. You're like, don't worry about it. I
Yeah.
got you. That's why I said, don't matter if I'm using this board. If there's a message in this board, and this is a divination board, which you use with to doubt with a pendulum. It have like
Okay.
yes, no, and all that. It's not a Ouija board or nothing like that. So I don't want people, it's
Right.
a will, like a
Yeah.
divination will, like
Okay.
astrology. What we're talking about, a will and a will. But
Right.
just because I'm using that, I may need to know, girl, you need to leave your house by the first. It's gonna go down. And the board may say that just because a demon might have created it, don't mean it's not true. I
Right.
still may need to get the hell out and follow the advice. So people need to, you gotta use your mind too. Because I remember back in the day, and I'm gonna let you take it from there if you want to say something or close or however you want to do it.
Okay.
But I
Cool.
try to explain to people about power. When you look at old cartoons like Inspector Gadget, things like even the show with the three witches, when they singing "I Put a Spell on You" with Bette Midler and all of them, Hocus Pocus and different things like that. All of the movies are set up in cartoons are the same, especially in the 80s. Even stuff like Darkwing Duck. They have books and they're fighting to stop the evil people from getting the book. Why are they trying to stop the evil people from getting the book? Why does it matter if this book only operates for good? And why the bad people trying to stop the good people from getting the book? It's trying to explain something to you. The power is not good or bad. It's it's in the heart of the magician and who hands it's in. So it's not so much that we got to fear AI being the devil. We have to fear devilish people or people operating at that level of lower vibration, using it to, harm other people and to do what they want to do with it. It's the
Right.
same thing with Dorothy and her shoes. The shoes was given to Dorothy because she did not have the power or to understand what she could do with those shoes. So now all of the forces are after her. I got to get those slippers. I want those shoes because they know what they can do with the damn shoes. Dorothy have no idea. She's protected just by having the shoes. You're protected by having the information, but you don't. But when you don't know what to do with it, it just sits there, right?
Right.
But people are coming for you. See, even right now, they see your light, so they coming for you. That light is part of what lights you up on a geofence. Because these people, we operate the stuff that we're doing. We glowing in the damn dark.
Oh, definitely. We're pinging
You
their
light
radar.
bright.
It's fun. I already know this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
We
yeah.
going in the dark, like literally, like walking through the universe and you just see like fireworks in the air or something, So, of course they're gonna
Beautiful.
give pushback. And I want to say this too, and I know it may make people mad. So some of the gatekeepers look like us. They
Yeah.
talk God talk. They talk about Black power. They talk about power to the people. They talk about the community. Some of them are in church and talk about fighting the devil. But when it comes down to truth, they reject it. They want no parts of truth
Mhm.
because they sell old stories to Black people and poor people and talk these old righteous things to keep us on sustainability and survival rather than progress and power in ourselves, empowerment.
Yeah.
So and because they benefit from us being in those lowly positions. So they're helping us spin the spell. They're gatekeepers too. They're glitching too. They're
Mhm.
not they're enemies of our progress because they're on the old thing. So even people like my age group, yeah, I'm cut different though. You said you were born in '93. I was born in '79.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in my generation and even beyond, older, they cannot let go because they didn't do the work. They stayed comfortable. They
Right.
never wanted to know more. They just walked
Right.
around saying, "Oh, I'm God," and they not even, they haven't leveled up. They still on just, and anytime you bring new information, it's a problem because it's a threat to their position and that arrogance that they have. Look at all of them. I don't know if you know who Doreen Virtue is. You ever
Nah.
heard of? Okay, well I ain't gonna go there, but I'm gonna kind of go there on Doreen Virtue.
Okay.
Doreen Virtue was a woman who capitalized on the angel system. She made all of these angel cards and angels are speaking to you and all of these oracles, and she made millions of dollars. She's a
Mm.
white lady,
Okay.
in the Wicca,
Yeah, I know when they do that
Wiccan.
whole TV stuff and yeah,
She did all of
with the
this stuff, right?
psychics and the yeah, I get you.
But
I
look
know
what she
what they
did.
do.
After everybody paid for her academies and she gave them certificates and stuff, when
Mm.
she burnt out and tapped out in that community, she made sure she burnt all of us too, to tell everybody that it's all evil and Jesus came to her, and she had this whole epiphany, right? So
Right.
damn all of the people that went and got your degrees and all your certifications and everything, so that don't mean nothing. Now you're telling them it's evil. So now she's capitalizing on Jesus cloths and you know uh, pick a item to sell. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? But now it's under the same guise. So it's just the gatekeeping energy.
It's that everything's a tool, right? So this could be used for self monetization too, right? So I don't think everybody's built for the same journey. I guess me, my girl and you and other people are built to do certain things. But I can't just get iron, go grab a polyester shirt and put a logo on it and then make a business. That's not beneficial. There's fabrics, there's good fabrics, bad fabrics, and there's fabrics that actually kill you. So like being conscious and aware of how you present information and the things you bring into the world, I guess it makes it, you could say it's a little harder, for the average person, but no, I think that the benefits that come with it is so much more. You're making a difference. Now you have a purpose. Now everything matters and it lines up. You know, uh, there's always going to be people that do things for self monetary reasons, and
Well, we just talked about that too.
they're parasites that
Yeah, we
have
talked about
nothing.
everybody had a role to play, right? We talked
Yep.
about the ones that choose to be the devil's advocate. Remember
Yeah,
when
right.
growing up, I don't, we would see movies and people would say, who you gonna be, the good guy or the bad guy? Oh, I'm the good guy, or I'm the bad guy. So
Right.
people choose to play these villain roles, or just whatever. This is God's movie, like Khaleesi. Shout out to Khaleesi, another New Yorker. She said, "Hey
Mm.
man, I'm just listening to his teachings, my soul, my heart. This is God's movie, and I'm just trying to play my part." Everybody got
Okay.
a part to play in this movie. We all got something to bring, And is there anything else you wanted to say, or because this is deep, and I think that the way you and I are building, it gives a variety of things that we touched on too, but we can go deeper into something, and that way it could be more niche, and they can learn. We ain't here to teach a whole damn course, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Just just yet,
So,
look yet.
you're a lot more knowledgeable in like the astrology and the tarot. As far as me, I'm aware like scientifically how I could like prove that to people, right? So like
Mhm.
I'm armed right now with the receipts. I believe that anybody could just form an argument for it just by presenting the evidence, and all they would do is deny science, basically, right? So, I'm gonna come out with a video with the receipts and all that stuff. I didn't bring it today, so I guess I'm kind of unprepared. I could pull it up right now, but like I would have to go through, name every article. I don't think we want
No,
to
you
go
don't
through
have
that.
to do that. You don't have to
So,
do that because once we come
um,
here, I'm already assuming because I don't just let
right,
anybody come on Meta Monday. So I'm already assuming that you're informed in what it is you're doing. And the
right.
reason why
So,
is because of the way where I'm at with it. So, people talk a lot of stuff, and that's another thing. They won't like our posts. They don't want to support, but they're superior than us, right? But then
right.
I invite them to come here and build. They got comments in the comment section. They talk all of this nasty stuff and like they're better and higher. But then when I invite them to come on the forefront, they scared. They don't even want to come on. Oh, I'm not ready yet. This. You saying
Yeah.
that you just got into it a few years ago and you ready. You
I'm
told me
ready.
I'm ready.
I've done.
I'm
I've.
ready to
That's
do it.
why I think I'm serve as an inspiration to some people too. Like how quickly a lot of things happen, and that's cool. I'm glad
If
to
you
be
ever
here.
want to build on love and your girl isn't shy, I can also have y'all on to give
She's right here. If,
y-
babe, would you like to go on?
Well, I mean, she can be. Let
We'll
her be
talk
when she's.
about it
She
in the
can come in and
future.
say hello. But I'm saying when
Come,
she's ready, y'all can
yeah.
do it. We could give y'all some space
It's cause
to
all
build.
right. So
Don't
her
put her on the
niece
spot.
had a birthday, right? So she
It's her
just
birthday.
came out. She don't like her hair. No, her niece had a birthday, so she just came from the birthday. So
Okay.
she want to
No,
do
no,
her hair
no.
and stuff. So we'll set
We'll
up
have
a
our
date for
time.
that. Cause that's a great thing to do. She deserves that, and that's my love, man. You
Absolutely. And like I
know,
said, I'm Sister Cola Soul Jet. You know, I am a priestess, but I'm a sister first. I'm a soul. We
all
soul
right.
being. So but the thing is I want to also hear about togetherness. There's been so much gender bashing. Anytime a
Oh
couple, I got
wow.
another brother that want to come
Mm,
on and do some talk about relationships. So anybody that's still when
okay.
we still in love with each other as men and women,
Mm,
I definitely want to give some space for that because so many people are losing hope.
definitely. And I'm learning how to court her better because she deserves everything. And
Absolutely.
that'll be a great episode to do. Um,
Okay.
yeah, great episode to do. I would love that. And also, I'm gonna give you another key. I haven't dropped to no one yet. This is exclusive for here. I hear a lot of things about power here, power there. I'm about soul power. All right, that's what we putting out here. Soul
Soul
power.
power,
There's
soul
a lot of
jetting up,
there's a
soul
lot of
jet. That means
isms.
to
There's there's
elevate your
isms.
soul. Soul
Yep.
power.
There's isms based on vessels, whether it's gender, whether it's racial, and we all are connected on a soul level. So I'm doing this for the souls, right? Just like you're doing this for the souls.
That's
So
it.
to avoid isms, it's soul power all day. That's
Soul
what we're doing
power.
here.
Soul
Straight up.
power.
Yep.
Soul power has always been
Soul
soul
power.
power, and I'll talk about that one day too. But they even
Mm.
had that in the '60s. What kind of power?
Oh
Soul
yeah.
power.
Okay.
'70s. Some of
I
those.
guess I'm picking up on old information.
That
That's
old
good.
euphemism.
Yeah,
How would they say euphemisms? I can't even
I
get my
guess
words
I'm
right.
I'm just filtering this.
But I want to
Mm,
close on this. If do you have anything else you wanted to say, and I will have you back. And if there's any questions in the comments, I see a couple of people just tapping in. They may have to
cool.
watch it from the top. But
Yeah, I mean,
do
if anyone got questions, I'm happy to answer. You could close it off for sure. I'm super appreciative to be on here again. This is my first like thing like this.
yes,
I actually
happy to
got
have
debates
you.
on YouTube. A lot of people don't know I got debates against the electrical engineer. I got a debate against the nuclear physicist.
Okay,
So I'm kind of well versed in these scientific arguments, and that's why I'm bringing this to the collective. But for you to have me on, I appreciate it.
I
I would love
appreciate
to
you.
come back on. I appreciate all the gestures. Your content's great. And
Thank
for the
you.
people who don't know, they're just tuning in right now. She very much understands astrology, tarot, and metaphysics deeply. I could vouch for that because I know what I know, and she know things I don't, right? And maybe I know some things she don't. So tap in with her. For
Absolutely,
people who are
because
trying
we're
to tap in
learning.
with me,
Yeah,
Angel the Ancient, any platform. I'm not really active on Twitter though. I got it, but I'm not active.
I
But
don't
besides
use
that,
Twitter either. It's called
look me
X or
up.
something now, ain't
Yeah, X.
it?
Yeah,
Okay, so I
Elon
want to
Musk.
close on my soul poem. This is Angel the Ancient. I was calling him Ancient Angel. I kind of like Angel the Ancient better. It kind of helps me to say it. It was a tongue twister for me.
Right,
And
man.
so he's told you how to find him. So you guys tap in to get this knowledge. And like I said, we talking on code these days because everybody's not on code, and it's sometimes it can be dangerous. So we're talking on code, and the ones on code know. As a matter of fact, I'm about to hide into some other codes, and I'm gonna talk to you about where the encoded is hiding. There's a
Oh wow.
certain station that just seems so simple, and this is where the bills are happening through sound waves and music. And we're going to talk about that because that's where I'm going to be moving the deeper bills at. We're going to give them an outline here, but once they really ready to take
Mhm.
that deeper dive, we're going to go into the waves, and we'll
I
be
would
seen
love to
more.
talk
We'll be
about that.
heard, felt. Huh?
I would love to talk about that with you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna be felt more, maybe seen less, but felt more. I say that's the vibration. So when I spoke to us not having all of the knowledge, so called, in my day, I went to Catholic school the first couple of years of my life. I went to Assumption Catholic School here in Beaumont, Texas, and I learned a lot about things through catechism, CCD. Believe it or not, it teaches you a lot. And
Mm.
see, that's why I say lean in because the deeper I got into religion, it brought me out. Sometimes you got to go crazy. You got to go extreme in order to, you got to see what it is. Like, oh, like this whole time they told us a dragon was on the other side of the hill. Man, this wasn't nothing. But you're thinking that it's a dragon, so you never go over there,
Right.
right? So this
No,
is
seriously.
go ahead.
No, seriously. What you're saying is facts. Like
Mhm.
I can't even follow. I can't even follow.
So there was a prayer that they gave us in this Catholic school that I still use. I don't know who wrote it. It's a poem, but I've taken it as mine. But I always say that I didn't write it. But it
Mhm.
was a key that was putting me in kindergarten and or first grade, and I never forgot it. So my community knows it. They don't may not know it by heart, but they know it. So I want to close on that just to open up some keys and the people watching, because
Okay.
it's something I never forgot since elementary, and I'm 46 years old.
Beautiful. That's
So it
beautiful.
goes like this, real simple. My soul is something inside me that keeps me alive. If it didn't, I couldn't count five. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. From the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. It hears through my ears, it sees through my eyes. It will never grow old, it will never die. It's truly my soul that keeps me alive. If it didn't, I couldn't count five.
Beautiful.
And what
Wow.
that activates is the ability to know that the soul is different than your flesh. People don't really know it. They think they know it, but there's something operating in us, navigating us through this world. And if you listen to it, you'll never be wrong. It's steadily trying to talk to you. The church call it the Holy Ghost. Some traditions in Kemet it's the Ka and the Ba. You got the
Mhm.
Chi in the Asian school of thought. It's the soul, the voice of the soul GPS. That thing. When we learn to follow that, it will never steer you wrong. That's how you find your soul tribe and your ancestors and the answers through all it overrides this.
Yes.
Because this
100%.
is madness. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yes.
So I just wanted to end on that. You guys want to thank everybody who's tapped in and tuned in. Once
Thank you.
again,
Thank
this
you.
is Angel the Ancient, and he talking about he learning from me. Shit, you
Yeah.
got me. I can't wait to watch this play on playback.
Yeah, no, seriously. Oh man, I
Mhm.
can't wait. Hopefully I look good, and I didn't sound crazy or nothing, and
Oh,
everything
come
makes
on,
sense.
man. You working it with the
You know,
fedora, man. You working it. You looking
yeah, yeah,
like, you really on it. You on it.
yeah. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious about this stuff.
Yeah.
There's a
Looking
lot of
like a Miami
clowning.
Vice.
Man, looking like Puerto Rico. I need to go back. Oh man.
Oh yeah, when we first started building, you were in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I just moved out there and stuff, and then things happen. Universe told me to move, and everything worked out. I'm in a great position. It's like, I would love to be in the hot weather again, but at the same time, everything that happened wouldn't have happened. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that as much as I'm the author of my life, there's higher powers that are kind of guiding me, and I'm
I
in a
said
position that I could listen, and I listen a lot more than I talk to them.
you do.
So,
Mhm.
you know, yeah,
I'm learning that.
I'm well off. Yeah, yeah,
No, but
yeah.
anyway, seriously, I enjoyed the build a lot, and we're going to continue to build. Again, I want to have you on again on New
Thank you.
Souljet Community here on Kolagraphy TV. Now, it takes a little time for it to upload on YouTube, but
Mhm.
by later tonight, it should be up. And I'm gonna go ahead and set it to public. For some reason, it only puts it on friends, so you'll see the views go up then. And if anybody got any questions, feel free to ask. If we
Right.
can't see the comments on you on Facebook, but
Mhm.
feel free to tag Ancient Angel. I'm sure he doesn't mind if you guys have any questions about
I don't
anything we
mind at
brought
all.
up
Tag
or
me
anything
anywhere,
with me.
YouTube, Facebook, wherever. Tag. I'll answer whatever questions. I'm here to grow and build. There was a lot of times of destruction, and there's a lot of destruction within the community, and I'm one of the representatives here to help build. So come build with
He's
me.
a fellow planetarian like myself. We are
I'm
here
a
to
Yep,
elevate and to bring the frequency up on planet Earth. So it's not
Planeteers.
about all of those other things, man. Sometimes them AT aliens blend in with your kin, as outcasts say. So you got to
Yeah,
know
no,
what you're dealing with, because sometimes your soul tribe is not your kin. We only kinship by spiritship and soulship, not necessarily. And I want to build more on
preach.
that DNA thing we talked about.
Yeah, we could do
When
that.
we come again, you had made a statement about this DNA thing and how we could all be here on this planet, and then these certain DNA things separates us. I would like to build more on that, and even how they were calling certain DNA junk DNA. I kind
Yeah,
of pushed back on that. So
right.
I would love to talk about that. So we'll have a time again to build. I'll check your calendar, and see what we can get you back on. And is anything else you'd like to close on?
Definitely. No, just thank you for everyone for tuning in. Any questions, ask, and just thank you. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Grateful. Thank
Okay, y'all. So that's another Metaphysical Monday. This time with Ancient and Angel, and I'm your host, Sister Cola Souljack, and we'll be back next Monday with another deep build. What will we be building on? I think I want to talk about the glitch again, unless I have a guest, but I'll let you guys know. So y'all stay tuned for more. Peace. Ashe.